Story 1. I have two sons who can be jerks. If my best friend told me that, I might be a little sad and miffed, but I know they would be right and wouldn't blame them. Story 2. It really depends on what makes them monsters in your eyes. I mean, are they hitting you or breaking your things or just doing the annoying things that kids do? My two best friends have kids, and once that happened, my life changed along with their lives, albeit not to even a close degree. If I wanted to see them, I would need to hang out at their place more often than not. No more football games at the bar. It was games at their house. I adapted to it. Yeah, my friend's third-grade daughter can be an annoying attention seeker in the fourth quarter sometimes, but she is my family in my eyes. The problem you have is that if you tell your friend the kids are being difficult, you are implying that he or she is a bad parent in their eyes. Story 3. This is funny. About 5 years ago, I asked this same question on my old Reddit account. My best friend found the post but never said anything. She just started acting differently, keeping her kid away from my house. Her kid was like the Tasmanian devil, and my kid is a ball of anxiety on a normal day. We stayed friends for 5 more years until this summer when she said she couldn't do this anymore and told me her secret, and couldn't be my friend anymore. She held on to this for 5 years. Anyways, no advice. Just wanted to tell you my experience with this question. Laugh out loud. Edit. Oh my gosh, guys. My first gold and on my alternate account. I'm literally freaking out. Thank you. Story 4. Don't just say your kids are monsters. You need to be very specific about what bothers you and present it in a constructive manner. I love how Brayden makes such cool things in the sandbox, though whenever he throws handfuls of sand into my drink, it frustrates me. He is so creative. Story 5. In normal polite society, you honestly can't tell a friend their child is a monster without some very hurt feelings. Most parents are very protective of their children. This is a case where honesty is not the best policy. If you say this to him, there's a high chance he will relay that to his wife and she will hate you. Promise. Only suggest non-kid-friendly outings, and just decline to come over to his place if the kids are around. He might suspect that you don't want to be around his kid, but you won't be the person who said so to his face. This is a very common problem as your friends start to have kids. I absolutely have a very similar situation going on. In the last 7 years, all of my friends have had children, and quite a few of them are difficult. Learn how to navigate it now. If you don't care about the friendship, by all means, tell your friend his kids are difficult. Story 6. If you're best friends, can't you talk about it directly? I know my best friend has told me directly, your son is a little hater because he always interrupts us on the phone, on multiple occasions. I think she also said, he's being a little troublemaker. She's right, and we laugh about it. If anyone else said it and I didn't have that kind of relationship, there would be a problem, but we are direct with each other. Anyway, as a parent, I also don't force my kids on people. If you come over to my house, my kid lives here too. If it's not planned ahead of time and I can't afford or find a sitter, I say I can't go because I have my son. If people don't care if he shows up or not, then they'd say so. So, I think it's odd that your friends put you in the position to have to ask to exclude their kids. Good kids versus bad kids. They are the same thing. Kids have different temperaments and parents have different expectations, but a good day 1 hour can be a troublemaker the next. I hate hearing good kids and bad kids because kids are human and have both sides. I've met challenging kids that I love and would babysit them for free because they are also fun and funny. I've met well-behaved kids that I really don't care for because I think that, yes, they are compliant, but they are also little troublemakers. Like I see them do and say little things that rub me the wrong way. Anyway, as you age, you'll have more peers having kids, so this is going to be more of an issue. Be prepared to not see those friends as often or lose the friendship. The flip side is often people complain when they have kids that they feel their friends turned away from them because they have kids. Story 7. First off, I would never tell a friend their kids are horrible monsters. Labeling the kids as opposed to their behavior implies you just don't like their kids, and it is a pretty forceful critique of your friend's parenting, like saying they've done a poor job. There could be a myriad of reasons why the kids are acting this way. Are the parents fighting? Is one or both parents not very present in their life? Do they legitimately have a mental health diagnosis? You might want to start by asking your friend about the kid's behavior before you go throwing terms like monster around. Hey, I've noticed Junior tends to scream a lot. What's up with that? This gives your friend a specific behavior to try to target and correct. If your friend seems oblivious, you might need to add, I really don't like it when they do that. Could you do something about that? If they sidestep, then you've got some decisions to make. You could tell the kids directly that their behavior is unacceptable. You could tell your friend if he's unwilling to try to correct the behavior to just not bring his kids around anymore. You could just stop inviting him to events if he can't avoid bringing his kids. Be direct, but make the issue about the behavior. Don't label the kids. Story 8. I would be honest with him, but I would handle the situation with some tact. Despite what Reddit thinks, the situation is not always as simple as just being bad parents. Even the best of friends can have their secrets. There may be something more complicated going on. I would sit down and have an honest conversation about it. I would explain why I do not want to be around their kids. I definitely would not call them horrible monsters, but I would highlight the behavior that is keeping me away. I would attempt to do a little digging to get to the bottom of what is going on. They could very well just be bad parents and be in complete denial about what is going on, or they could be struggling with it just as much as you are. The only way you will know where things are is with honesty. Story 9. This is a contentious issue, and I deal with this too. I don't like kids. I never have, and I never will. I always go about this as politely and diplomatically as possible. In restaurants, I ask to be seated away from any children, especially if they're making noise. Some people think I'm being difficult, but why should I pay for a meal to have it ruined by kids? Tell your friend that you'd like to spend time with them by themselves. If there's someone to look after the children, it shouldn't be a problem. Unfortunately, I'm at the age where friends are starting to think about kids, and honestly, I think I'm going to lose a few friends because of it. Like I say, I think as long as you're polite and diplomatic, it shouldn't be an issue. There's no nice way to tell someone their children are horrible, noisy troublemakers. All the best. Story 10. No explanation needed. Just stop hanging around the house. Saying something is likely going to cause hurt feelings. If the parents aren't addressing behavior, they must not think it's a problem. If you are interested in maintaining the friendship, skip the home visits and hang out in neutral, kid-free zones. Story 11. I don't want to come over because your kids are horrible monsters. Simple as that. That is, if you feel you owe them an explanation for not wanting to come over. I personally wouldn't. Story 12. We have some of those, but the opposite ones are more difficult. We love your kids. They get along great with mine and build on each other's strengths. Let your kids come over, but I don't want to see you, arrogant, or the person you married anywhere nearby, and we will never let our kids stay at your house unsupervised. Story 13. A good friend of mine had a puppy, and they would just let the little puppy poop and pee on puppy pads in the corner of their living room. It made their medium-sized apartment smell so bad my gag reflex would trigger as soon as I came inside. One day he invited me over and I just told him, "Your apartment has gotten so bad I cannot go in there anymore. I'm willing to hang out with you literally anywhere but there." He got the message, never fixed the issue, but he'd just come over to my place or we would go out instead. Good friends can be blunt with each other. Story 14. My friend's dogs are insane and attack you when you walk into their house. I just asked him if he can keep them outside when I'm over. I don't know if you can do that with kids, but it's worth a shot. Story 15. Honestly, with my best friend, it really is as simple as honesty. We'll work something out, though, as always. Maybe keep them in the closet or the spare room. Story 16. I don't want you to come over because your kids are horrible monsters, but not really. Maybe try and frame it as wanting to spend adult time with them, going out for a drink, etc. Story 17. I made a friend mad when I told him I did not want him to borrow my Wii U because his kids have a track record of destroying his consoles. He was not very happy with my comment. Story 18. Do you care about preserving the friendship? I ask because kids grow up. This is a temporary problem. If you consider this person a friend for life, do not say anything. Suggest outings where kids will not be involved. Or be there sometimes to support your friend who is dealing with his monsters all the time. This too shall pass. Story 19. I had to deal with this issue a few years ago. In my case, I knew for a fact that his wife would not take it well. So I avoided the issue and told him that I was not feeling well. So I'd say if you know for sure they will be open to the feedback, then simply state the truth. In my case, I chose to avoid the problem altogether and preserve the friendship. Story 20. Do you think they will take it badly if you tell them straightforward? If yes, just lie and say that you think their kid hates you or that you're not good with kids or something. But if your friendship is the type where you can laugh it off, I suggest you tell it to them in a funny way. Story 21. Take this as an opportunity to be the cool uncle. If they are being little monsters, take one to the ground, put him in a playful headlock, and give him a noogie. Story 22. My husband and I have a few friends that we consistently play games online with. At the time, we were consistently playing Overwatch in quick play. Winning is nice, but it mostly serves as a venue for us to hang out together. One of the friends has a kid who is about 11. One day, his kid was being really negative. It felt very awkward to bring up, but I just blurted out, "Dude, your son was being quite rude today." I told him I'm not going to play with him anymore if he can't be respectful. Our buddy was really glad that the three of us told him his kid was being disrespectful. They had a talk, and after that, his kid has been pretty delightful to play with. Story 23. You don't have to say, "I don't want to come over because your kids are awful." You can point out specific behaviors and list those as reasons for not wanting to come over. "Hey man, your kid slapped and kicked my kid last time and the time before that. Maybe we should get sitters." "Hey dude, your kid screams and hurls insults at random strangers. Maybe we chill at the house." Address the behaviors and actions, not the person or kid. Story 24. I'd just be honest. I've even done it before. When something like this, "I'd love to hang out with you, but to be honest, your kids are difficult." A couple of days ago, actually. Story 25. I would just tell him. However, everyone knows I dislike children, so my friends assume I already think this as I avoid them at all costs. For you, though, if you are not known as someone who dislikes children, I would still just tell him. I find children frustrating. Story 26. I had to cut ties in a major way with one of my longest best friends because of her child. He is just a destructive little troublemaker. Her parenting, I'm sure, played a role in that. Her son is a few years older than my kids, and he would bully them and lie about it. He would try to show my daughter inappropriate YouTube videos. At a certain point, I realized that in spite of her being my best friend, our kids just couldn't be friends. We don't do kids' birthdays together anymore or holidays. We just hang out together now as adults, like going for drinks or just stopping by to visit each other. It was a good year where we barely talked. I mentioned to her that I don't want our kids to play together, and I think it hurt her feelings, but I had to do what's best for my children. Story 27. Kids shouldn't be mean, so you have nothing to worry about by telling the parents the truth. You aren't the one doing anything wrong. Those parents should raise their kids better. Story 28. Get a significant other who's a teacher, but really say something to the kid if you are close with your friend. A small word from a non-parent could stop the behavior in its tracks. If they are small, a stern no thank you will work. If they are older, tell them why they should not be doing whatever it is. Do not run in the coffee shop. It is not safe. People are carrying hot drinks and could spill them. Then, if they don't listen, give your friend the look until they parent their child. Story 29. Tell them, your kids are horrible monsters, so I'll not be coming over. Thanks for the invite though. Call me when you send them off to military school. Story 30. I wonder whether you could offer your friend opportunities to get away from the kids. Like suggest something like, shall we just go out for a few hours? Just the two of us? We could go insert activity if name of partner looks after name of kids for a few hours. Wouldn't that be fun? You could also say you want to hang out so you can talk about something private which isn't appropriate for the kids to hear, maybe. Story 31. Well, my best friend and I have kids that are about 10 months apart. They play together all the time. We know they can be difficult at times. So we understand what the other one is going through. It's almost unspoken between us. Story 32. What are they doing? I discipline other people's kids if they are doing the wrong thing. Some kid was scratching people with a bit of jagged plastic. When he came to me, I said, "Try it." He did. I took it off him and said, "Don't do that again." He didn't. Story 33. After you tell them, "I do not want to come over because your kids are horrible monsters," they will probably cut ties with you. In revenge, do this. 1. Adopt as many kids as they have and of their approximate ages. Teach them well, get them involved in a lot of positive activities, and engage them with the community. Get very involved yourself in all the said activities. Do your best to make them happy while teaching them kindness, responsibility, and self-awareness. When they are grown-ups and are very successful human beings, call your friends back. This is where the fun begins. If their kids ended up in jail or as horrible adults, call them and tell them, "See? I told you." Make sure your kids don't find out about this petty revenge, though, or they will get mad at you. Then, continue with your life and be very proud of your accomplishments as a parent and of your kids' success. If, on the other hand, you find out that their kids have become normal adults, call them and tell them, "I am sorry for being so harsh. I know it's hard to raise kids, and I am so glad that yours have turned out well.